Hello YouTube, Toothless Hillbilly Deluxe here, coming to you to show you guys a easy and fairly inexpensive way to do an underquilt for your hammock. I am one of those people that like to save a lot of money. I hate spending money, frankly, a lot of times because I don't have any money, especially with 2 kids, a wife, and school. So anyway, people, have a hard time with underquilts, especially getting a fairly decent one because they're really wicked expensive, anywhere from $150 at the low end to somewhere in the $300 range for a really decent underquilt. They're not so bad if you get maybe some sort of synthetic fill material, but if you want a good down, those are really expensive, unless you make them yourself. So basically, I wanted to show you a fairly inexpensive way of making yourself an underquilt out of a pre-existing sleeping bag. Your first objective is to hit your Goodwills, your thrift stores, anywhere people drop off stuff. You can a lot of times find some fairly decent stuff. I went to the Goodwill here in Eagan, Minnesota, in my hometown. And I picked up I picked up 3, count them, 3, yes, 3 Dolomite, North Face Dolomite 2S sleeping bags. They're down bags, rectangle bags, rated down to 40 degrees. So anyway, I picked up 3 of them I found there. I got them for $34.99, ridiculous, they're $179 a piece. So anyway, I ended up selling 2 of them. And keeping one of them and turning them into my down underquilt. Now, the way I did this is fairly simple. Basically, here, I'll show you the quick setup. This is what the setup looks like for the most part. There's a couple of different ways of doing it, but this is the way I did it. On each of the head side of the thing, on the head side of this one, it's got a cord lock and everything with these elastic bands inside a channel, so you can basically just cinch up the head end, which is really convenient. And then on the corners of it, I hooked these zip ties. These zip ties, I don't know if you can see it very well with the sun, or maybe if I switch to a different side. These zip ties have little eye holes in them, which is a great place to tie a little bit of cord off. So basically on the 2 head ends, I just wrapped the zip tie around a zipper piece, so you have basically, like a homemade tie out, and then tied a rope to it. I ran them up the length of the rest of the hammock to a carabiner. This just happened to be an S-beaner. I would imagine any kind of carabiner would work. They don't have to be climbing grade or anything like that. They're not really they're not there to support your weight. They're just there to hold the hammock or hold the underquilt up to your hammock. But anyway, so yeah, basically run both sides up to 1 carabiner and then hook it up. And then on the other side, what I did, now you can basically, I had this set up a different way prior to this. I just took the 2 top corners and did basically the exact same thing as over there on the head end, but I just changed it today on the Dolomite 2S. It's got this little, nylon strap here that I decided that I wanted to be able to enclose this more for when it gets really cold and kind of make a foot box. So what I did was I unzipped it, ran my hammock up and through that hole. I had a rope tied to this, running up here to another carabiner, and then on the top, to basically stop this zipper from running up, I took the zipper, took the zipper, did the tie out the same way with the zip tie. There's a good shot of that eyelet and the zip tie. And then, basically ran another rope from there up to the carabiner again. Just hook it up underneath. So yeah. Now you can lay inside of there. There's no pressure being put on this sleeping bag. You can just lay inside of there. It works great. Like I said, it's a 40-degree bag. But once you hook that up with, say, another maybe down sleeping bag, or even any of your synthetic bags, your military sleep systems, those deals, you're obviously going to be able to be really warm in there. It definitely cuts off any kind of air that might pass up underneath there. You can loosen these up a little bit if you need to make a pocket to try and get a little more air inside of there to heat up. But you can see underneath here, that can be cinched up all the way tight, really enclosing that. And it'll stretch and conform to your body just the way you want it to. So yeah, that's my quick and easy way to do a underquilt, a down underquilt at a fairly reasonable cost. The biggest thing you got to be, the hardest part about this whole thing, honestly, is just taking a little bit of time, trying to find your, the sleeping bag you want to use for your underquilt. If you're going to be hitting up thrift stores and everything, you don't always come across a North Face down bag at a Goodwill. It just doesn't happen very often, especially 3 of them. But I happen to get lucky, and maybe you can too. I suggest going to your rich neighborhoods. Those Goodwills, they rock. You can always find North Face stuff, your Cabela's stuff, your high-end outfitters. Rich people buy stuff and they wear it once and then they get rid of it. I don't know why. But I love it when they do. So thank you, rich people, for getting rid of your stuff. So anyway, that's a cheap way of doing it. Walmart hammock, $25, $34.99 for the North Face bag. And I got a ready-to-go sleep system, So anyway, this is Hillbilly Deluxe here, just ready to say bye-bye, and we'll see you out on the trail.